Yeah, I'm Gavin from ePump. Thanks for watching. If you've either purchased an ePump or you're interested in buying one, today I'll just try and show you how easy the ePump is really to fit. Very simple, everything comes in a box. The only things we don't supply are the posts and the 6x2 timber. Effectively you need 10 posts in total and 12 metres of 6x2. We supply all of the fixings and fittings. It all comes in the box. As a part of the layout instructions, the pump panels really just need to face as north as sensible and be in good sort of clear sunlight, and put into the depth per the instructions. Obviously the back posts are further out of the ground, front posts are a little bit shallower just to give us that angle. Pretty simple, just always select decent post, reasonable size. There is a fair amount of windage on it, but put in properly, it's a really solid structure, and we have the design work done on the panels for a PS1. The first step, so putting in your posts, you can ram your posts or you can dig your posts and ram them. Pretty simple. And effectively, we bolt the 6x2 timber onto the front side on both with the bugle screws, all in the kit. We supply the bit for the bugle screw as well. So effectively we're doing two screws per post. So once you've got that all on and it's all level, the next step is to put the feet on. So this is an adjustable leg. It screws onto the 6x2 timber with the bugle screws all supplied. Effectively, if you can get a string line, just so you can get them straight, and there's just 2 screws per leg. Quite simple. They've got to fold all the way forward. There is a right way and a wrong way. You really want them to drop all the way forward. It's simpler to get the angle correct and to get the rail on it correctly. So you've got your timber now all sort of bolted down, your 6x2s bolted onto your posts. You've got your feet mounted, so they're all bolted down with the bugle screws. The next step is putting your rail on. So the rail is what the panels mount to. So in your kit you get 6 2.1 metre lengths, so you do have 4 joins to do. This is a joiner, pretty simple. It effectively just joins the rail, 2 bits of rail slide together, and then that's just bolted up with an Allen key. So once all that's done, you slide it all together, join it all with the rails, tighten it all up, then we're on to the next stage. Okay, so we've got all our rails on, they're all tightened down. The next step is effectively to put the panels on. It is a 2-person job, the panels are reasonably heavy. They're fixed down by these, there's a centre bracket and there's an end bracket. Centre brackets have got obviously double sides, the end is simply just a single side. One thing to note with the brackets, how they slot into the rail, they do have a correct way to slot into the rail. You can see there's a profile that it fits. So effectively putting on 2 end brackets, lifting on a panel and literally tightening down with your Allen key as you go. You want to be really tight. You can't really affect the panel, but a decent Allen key with a decent torque on it will hold them down. So effectively starting at the end and then two-person job. If you're a higher array like this, you may need a ladder at the back. Place one panel on, fix it down, centre bracket in, slot it onto the rail, next panel, tighten and just continue until you get to the end, and obviously we've then got a couple of end brackets on the end. Pretty simple. You want to check that everything's tight when you're finished. Everything's bolted down, the panels are all bolted down. Effectively now we've got 6 panels. How the system works is we've got pre-made isolator looms, and on the pre-made looms are all the plugs that connect directly to the panels. The panels connect effectively in a pair. It's very simple. You've got 6 males and 6 female plugs. It's all 36 volt DC, so anyone can do it. Just be aware, obviously it's a sunny day like today, the connection is actually live as soon as you're plugging it in. So just be aware if you've got people around. But very simple, pre-made loom, and on the isolator is pre-made plugs. Very simply, we've got pre-made leads that go to the pump, and on the pump there's a couple of pre-made plugs that we plug onto. So there's physically no wiring involved. You follow our pre-made loom, you connect it with our 10-metre cables, so it gives you 10 metres between the panel and the pump. So you can fit the pump. This one's fitted obviously very close to the panels, but this pump could be sitting 10 metres away from the whole array. That all comes in the kit and it all plugs in. It's very simple. All the panels are now connected and we've brought our isolator down. Just attach it to something solid with a couple of screws. The next phase is connecting our pre-made 10-metre leads. You can't muck up which is which, they are male and female plugs. So we connect them to the bottom of the isolator and then connect them onto the pre-made plugs coming out of the bottom of the pump. So it is literally simple plug and play. At that stage, leave the isolator off, just because the pump will start on its own if the isolator's on. So just please leave the isolator off. The panels are all screwed down and we've got the pump mounted on the end of this array. The pump can be mounted away from the array. It can be mounted up to 100 metres away. We'll just have to have a discussion about some bigger cable. This is how the pump arrives. It's all pre-wired and pre-plumbed, okay? All you're fitting is your suction pipe and your discharge pipe. So it comes all wired, all ready to go. In the back is a little hex head. You need to fill it with oil. You also need to make sure it's full of oil. Just check it on a monthly basis just to check it's got oil. The other part is priming the pump. So around this side, there's a brass bung. You need to prime the pump, okay? So you need to prime the pump from the head all the way to the suction. You can't have any air inside it at all. The pump comes with its pressure switches preset to the maximum height the pump can achieve, okay? So this is a E40, 40-metre head. The high pressure cutout switch is set to 40 metres. On the higher pressure pumps, E60 and E120, you need to make sure that your pipe rating is sufficient to take that pressure. If you need to adjust your high pressure switch, we're happy to talk to you about doing that. It's pretty simple, it's just a screwdriver to wind it down. I'm going to turn on the isolator now. One thing to be very cautious of, in the program, the pump will run for 60 seconds right from the start. So it goes through just a very basic check-up system on the system, pre-check, and then it'll effectively fire into life. So the pump now will run for 60 seconds. If it doesn't achieve prime, if it's not primed, it will cut out. If it cuts out, you'll get a simple input light. Now the input lights are all on the website. There's a nice PDF on there which says which different lights mean, but effectively if the little orange light's flashing, it hasn't achieved prime. So the pump's pumping now, and I can put it up against a bullcock just by shutting that valve. So it's turned off on its high pressure switch, okay? The normal control philosophy of this pump is pressure time. So it'll pump up to a bullcock, and once it achieves pressure, it'll turn off for 10 minutes. So it's got a 10-minute start delay. So if I was to open this valve and wait 10 minutes, it'll just keep on pumping, okay? It is fully automatic. It'll just happily do that all day, every day. This is the ePump. It's the simplest pumping system you're ever going to see. It's solar. It's really, really simple. Anyone can fit it. It just plugs in. We sell a lot of these units, all around the country. We get a lot of really positive comments, and it changes the way people farm. That's the ePump. Thanks for watching.